try to find seats and sit. We're going to start in just a moment. I'd like to welcome you here. I'm Jonathan Rappaport, one of the co-chairs of the Westborough Democratic Town Committee. I would encourage people, if you'd like to ask a question of the candidates, there are index cards on the table by the door, and you can fill out one question per index card. Be sure you put the name of the office on the top, such as school committee or select board or whatever it is, so we know who the question is directed for. So we've been collecting those questions. Don, who's over there on the wall, can get them. Ravi in the middle can collect them, so can Kurt. And Wency over there. So if you have any questions, please hand them in to the various committee members. And we look forward to a very informational filled discussion this evening. Thank you very much.
Those names that have to be found. Yeah.
She doesn't see me.
Ruth.
There we go. Okay, I guess we're going to start. We're a few minutes early, but everyone's all settled and it looks like we're ready to go. Good evening. Hello, everyone. I welcome you to this nonpartisan Westborough Candidates Forum, sponsored by the Westborough Democratic Town Committee. My name is Bradford Smith. I've been living in town for 30-something years. I'm the moderator of this event, and we express our thanks to the Willows for hosting this event, and to Westborough Cable and cable producers Karen Henderson and Aidan Morgan for recording this forum, broadcasting it live right now apparently, and rebroadcasting it on Monday, and then I think it's going to YouTube after that, if I'm not mistaken. So to help all our residents meet candidates running for local office. We also express appreciation to our volunteers Lee Emery, Mitch Gitkin, Kurt Kushevsky, Susan McAllis, Ravi Mekhala, Bill Panis, Helen Panis, Jonathan Rappaport, Judith Tully, and Don Zenas. We also express deep appreciation to State Representative Kate Donahue, former Town Democratic Committee Chair, who for so many years organized and ran this yearly forum, creating a public service tradition. We want to thank all those of you who are in attendance this evening, as well as everyone who's watching live and will be watching in the subsequent broadcasts. I think on Monday, tomorrow, there will be a rebroadcast of this, as we said, and then it goes to YouTube. Finally, we express our deep appreciation to all those candidates who are exhibiting civic duty and pride by volunteering their time, enterprise, and talents to run for local town office. Citizens attending in person this evening have an opportunity to submit written questions for various offices. Thus, no one has seen these questions beforehand. If you have any question for a particular office, please send one to our volunteers now. The questions asked will include a variety of topics that will be of general interest to the community. Tonight's format will include a 2-minute introductory statement by each candidate, plus one or more additional audience questions, of which each must be responded to in 2 minutes or less. When there are multiple candidates for any given office, the order of responses will be rotated on a random basis. Bill Panis, sitting down in the front row, is our timekeeper and will show you, the candidates, the signs as to when you have 30 seconds left, 15 seconds left, and when your time is up. Bill, please stand, just so we all acknowledge you. And thank you very much. When the question is asked, each candidate for that specific office will respond to the same question. We will ask each candidate to give their answer in place, either standing or sitting near their chair, and to strictly observe the 2-minute time limit for all statements and answers. Please note that this is not a debate, and candidates are not asked to engage with or respond to one another.
Nope.
Finally, a brief comment about public discourse. The town of Westborough has an over 300-year history of respectful participation in public discussion, debate, and discourse. We can agree and we can disagree with our neighbors, and always we do this respectfully. We expect that all of our audience members and candidates have come to the forum with a spirit of mutual regard and courtesy in mind. With these thoughts in mind, we ask all audience members to only applaud at the very end of the forum, and this is hard, and not to call out or make any remarks during the forum. Because the Willows is a private facility, we also are not allowing any political signs of any kind, either inside or outside. We are very happy that you are watching and honored that the candidates are here to participate in this forum. So let's begin. All the candidates are up here now. We have 5 candidates running for 3 vacancies in the Office of Trustee of Public Library. The candidates are Janine Mindrum, incumbent, Mary Christensen, Boyd Conklin, Michael Karp, Gregory K. Moberg. Welcome to these 5 candidates. We will begin with each candidate giving a 2-minute statement, starting with Janine Mindrum. So if we're ready to go, is it on?
Is it on?
Yeah, put it right up to your, there you go.
Is it okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm running because I love the library and I go out frequently to keep up with my reading.
Can't hear you.
The mic's on, just hold it closer.
Now yell right into the center.
I love the library. And I go there frequently to keep up with my reading. And through my outreach efforts as a library trustee, I'm hoping that the community will have the opportunity to experience the library in the same positive way that I do. Last year, when I was collecting signatures to get my name on the ballot, I was standing outside Roach Brothers in the freezing cold, and 2 kind ladies took the time to stop and talk to me and tell me what they wanted from the library trustees. They told me that they want us to come to the senior center on a regular basis to give them updates on library programs, services, and on the repair project, and to hear about their curiosity about the library and their ideas. So, Maureen Amiat, Ed Baldwin, and I did the first of what I hope will be many talks at the senior center. And it was enthusiastically well attended, and we got some great ideas for more ways to reach community members with information about our libraries. I was fortunate enough to schedule talks with the Rotary Club, the Civic Club, the Walker Meadow, and the Interfaith Clergy, and I'm just getting started. As the outreach trustee, I'm looking for more community connections where we can go and visit and share information about our wonderful library and learn from the community. Because if we go out and talk to the community and share what we have to offer and then listen to our community, we will have even stronger options to offer in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. Next candidate, go ahead.
Thank you. I have to stand up because you can't see me very well. My name is Dr. Mary Botticelli Christensen. Too long for a placard. I have experience and I have a passion. My experience is on the little cards in the back that you can pick up with my name on it. I hold a doctorate in education, a certification in 7 through 12 English teacher for many years. I'm certified to be a nonprofit manager from the Foundation Center in New York City, as well as a grant writer and a strategic planner. I love libraries. My life has revolved around libraries. Learning to read is an essential skill, and it triggers so many other cognitive developments. And so reading is at the heart of any healthy community. If you have readers who are going to an active library, you have educated people. And that's what I want to have for Westborough, which has become our home, my husband and I, in the last 9 years. We came here from Connecticut to be closer to our children, and you know how that works out. They don't move. So I found my friends and my soulmates at the library. I want to make it a strong place that is open to all children and adults. I have some plans in mind, but I want you to just touch on one thing, and that's the issue, that's the hot button issue. Banning books, and I have only one phrase, over my dead body. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now on to candidate Conklin.
All right, here's, so Boyd Conklin, 8 Water Street, 760-654-2282. Scientist, chemist, research and development and production of DNA and RNA. 30 years in the sciences, UCSD, Bachelor's of Biochemistry and Cell Biology, Master's in Business. Resident of Westborough for 3 years. We can ask Maureen Amiot how close I come to be the library's #1 patron. The library is a wonderful place and should continue to be. Let's dispense with the woke agenda, pushing the latest thing of the uniparty. I have sons in 6th and 7th grade, and then also daughters, 28, 33, and 38 from the first wife. We have a warrant article currently on the town. As many in the town have seen, the taxes are so high here that many people are leaving. They can't stay here. So the library cost-effective repair is the article to see if the town will vote on a non-binding resolution to leave the library building alone. Repair as needed, roofs, windows, carpets, no heat pumps, no conversion of natural gas heating to electric. No electric rewiring for massive draw of electric heating. And there are those in authority positions in Westborough that feel compelled to electrify the town for climate change, AKA zero carbon, net zero. So in my opinion, they feel the library must be electrified. I think we can cost effectively repair it. The town has just purchased the 1500 Union Street property to function as a community center. So there is no reason to go forward with a community center plan on the library site. The slate roofing on the original 1908 building can be removed, the roof sheeting and fascia replaced, repaired as needed, and the slate tiles reinstalled. The roof on the addition can also be redone. The windows can be repaired one at a time without causing the downtime in the library
Okay,
operation.
time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to candidate Carter.
Good evening. After teaching English and social studies and
Can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Now? Okay. Can I get a restart? After teaching English and social studies and chairing a large urban high school in the English department, I spent 40 years in high tech, working across many cultures in the US, Europe, and Asia. In 2001, my wife and I found a wonderful house in Westborough with a place for Sheila's then 80-year-old mom, and the nearby schools gave me a chance in retirement to go back to my earlier career of teaching. We downsized when Sheila's mom passed away 2 weeks shy of her 103rd birthday, and we moved to Chauncey Lake, where we live now and remain committed to serving the community. I'm running for office today because I value Westborough's history and way of life, but our long traditions of inclusivity, acceptance, and kindness are under siege. There's a push by a vocal minority towards narrow-mindedness and bigotry, a disdain for science, and a contempt for the rights of others. And a small minority even feels that because they don't want to read something, you and your children and grandchildren shouldn't be allowed to read it either in our public library. Now, I've talked to Westborough residents who are surprised to learn that people actually want to ban books in this town today, in the 21st century, just like what happened in Nazi Germany, just like what Al-Qaeda does, and what the Taliban does, and the Chinese Communist Party, and Vladimir Putin. Standing against this, we have a dedicated library staff. Kids come from the middle and high schools to help seniors with computer issues. Parents know young kids are safe in the library in rooms appropriate for young readers and supervised by both the local librarian and a large green crocodile. There is an area for teenage readers and a newly spiffed up area for seniors, and the staff is increasing its ability to reach out to all members of the community. Thank you for that, Janine. Our library is a proud Westborough institution and deserves to be supported against people whose thinking aligns with that of institutions we'd rather not be associated with.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. That's time, and now candidate Moberg.
Greg Moberg, 136 Upton Road. I have to thank John Rappaport and Susan McGallis and the Westborough Democratic Town Committee for putting this together. And
Louder,
Village of
louder.
Westborough for hosting the event. Thank you very much. Okay, so hopefully I can keep this right here in front of me. So a little bit about me. I'm a longtime town resident. My wife and I moved here in spring of 1992, we believe. We've been living at 136 Upton Road since 1993. Our children grew up and graduated from the Westborough High School. During this entire time, I've been a software developer, working up and down the I-495 corridor here, working at different positions. I've held positions then from just being a mainline software developer up to being a VP positions. And as part of that came the responsibilities then, which I think are applicable for what I'm trying to do here, which is a library trustee, is the prioritization, budgeting, resource allocation, level of effort, and deliveries of different tasks. I have spent evenings back in a different job position working on sitting in the basement of the then fledgling Minuteman Public Library in the Framingham basement, working on that. In my youth, I was in charge of doing microfilm recording of journals and newspapers at my public library as a volunteer. What I want to accomplish is to preserve, promote, and improve what I find in the Westborough Public Library, which is truly a gem. It is a wonderful resource of our town, and I really appreciate what is there. I see value in it. I hope that we all do, and I really want to have that increase over time. If you look at the ALA.org, the American Library Association's Bill of Rights, I fully back that. The Freedom to Read statement is terrific. I fully back that as well. We have a terrific set of people working for the library already, and the library trustees are tremendous. The library building committee is wonderful. The Friends of the Westborough Library is very
Okay,
supportive.
time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you all candidates for your opening statements. Now we're going to get to our first question, which will be responded to in the following order. We'll go Christensen, Karp, Vindram, Moberg, and Boyd. So we're trying to mix it up. Here is the first question, and if you need me to read it again later, that's fine. The first question is, what is the role of the trustees of the Westborough Public Library, and how do you see yourself supporting that role? So we'll start with candidate Christensen.
First of all, the library trustee means trust, and I hope that I'll earn your trust to be your trustee of the library. What I see as their role is to strengthen, first of all, using all the skills that I brought from my long list of experience, to showing the Westborough and Metro West that Westborough has the desire and the commitment to see their library become equal to or even surpass some of their neighbors' library. That's sort of a little thing I have of visiting libraries. That's in my DNA. So I visited all the ones around, and ours does not stack up even close to what they've done. A town is known for the library. It was in the beginning of time, they were called the People's Universities. So as a trustee, I want to see more people in the library learning, challenging books that you can actually learn a skill. How to use your computer. Certainly I need it. To have a experienced fundraiser, support the foundation in looking for large million-dollar grants, which I do have experience in getting. I want to see it become the intellectual center for people, mature adults, as it has become for the children. Curiosity in the little kids, creative thinking for the middle-aged little kids, and then critical thinking for the teens. I want that same kind of department for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the mic needs to be right up on your lips. Candidate, we're on to candidate Karp now.
That would be me. The role of a library trustee is to act as a an enabler for the library itself, an enabler in the sense that we have a role in selection of the strategy that we're going to use. It is a balance between think of the library almost as a legislative branch of government, whereas the library team, the employed library team, is in fact acting as the administrative branch. I think one of the things that works most nicely for libraries is when the trustees are able to drive the sorry, just got tangled up there. When the trustees are able to express the will of the voters, showing what there's providing a pipeline to the library. So I think it's on the one hand we enable, on the other hand we protect, and that's all the hands we have.
Okay, thank you. Now, in our order here, we're on to candidate Mindrum next. We're jumping around.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I've had 1 year to start to learn what a trustee can do, and I've been finding some things that I think are useful. I'm very interested in outreach, as I've told you already. I was talking with someone the other day. I went to a meeting an hour early, so I couldn't get into the building. So I went to the library, of course, to sit, and I met some lovely people, and we talked about the library for an hour. And when I was talking about the library, someone said to me, you know, people don't really know what the library has now, because the library has changed so much. And I'm really finding that when we went to the senior center and talked about all the things that the library has available, many things were not known to the people there, and they were very excited about it. So I think one of the roles of a trustee is to help the community learn what a resource we have right here, right now, for all of us, and help people get more involved and take advantage of all the wonderful things that are there. And then we also are in charge of looking at policy, and we read a lot of the policy for the library and decide how meeting rooms are used and things like that. And we have to write it all so that it's fair to the community. We get emails from the community all the time, and we have to respond. We need to listen to the community, because we're here to help you.
Okay, thank you. Can you pass the mic down to candidate Moberg, and then Mr. Conklin, you're going to be last, and just this random assembly. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. For me, I would say that the library trustee position is to represent and preserve what we have already in our town and advocate for its future. A library really is the forum for information and ideas in the town, and it is the place where we can find support. It can be a resource center for ourselves and for our children. It is a welcoming place for all members of our community and guests. And it deserves to be that place that we can, find a place to be together. Janine is spot on with her statement about seeking embrace, that that we need to find a way to increase the library's interaction with the town and vice versa. If you go to the events page of the Westborough Public Library, it is filled with all kinds of very interesting activities. The place is humming, and you realize that there's a lot that goes on there. And I would like to see all that and see even more of that. This is a valuable resource in our community, and I appreciate that. And I want to help. I have time to do so, so I want to help by increasing that and making sure that our library is successful.
Okay, thank you. Could you pass the mic to candidate Conklin?
All right, so the library is integral to the town, and the town finances are integral to the people that live in the town. So it's library trustees, not only the library, but make it useful for the town, type of thing. For the parking easement with the church next door, for digging a 30-foot trench, ran into some problems. I think it's back online. I was at the library trustees meeting, the last one they had, and it seems to be coming along. But it's also ideas for the town, as for the town's finances, and not just pouring money into the library. So we will soon see the third iteration of the pig with different lipstick. We had the vote, we had the revote, and now we're having another LPAA Vertex $1 million article coming up at the town warrant. It's still the same pig. How many times must the town vote down the same project from LPAA and Vertex that the library trustees and library building committee relentlessly present? The town has a financing problem. So another one of my ideas is to get the books that the people donate to the library, like when they die or when they move to a nursing home or something like that. Their libraries are going to the library, and the library is having a sale for the books, and then everything else gets destroyed. If we can get those books, some hundreds of years old books, and that would be destroyed, if we can get those into the people's hands of Westborough free of charge, that seems like a wonderful way to preserve the past. If people can have a library storage in their own homes kind of thing, as opposed to destroying these things. As we see, Google AI is rewriting our history. The people who control the present control the past. And so if we can keep that stuff, we can perhaps keep some of our history.
Okay, thank you. Now, I thank all of you for answering the first question. Our second question will be responded to in the following order. We'll go Moberg, Conklin, Mindrum, Christensen, and Karp. So if you could pass the mic down to candidate Moberg, and I will read you the question. And again, I'm happy to read it again later if you want me to. Here's the question. What is the most important issue facing the Westborough Public Library, and how would you address it?
In my view, the most important problems facing the Westborough Public Library are two, and one sort of solves the second. The first is the public outreach in both directions. It's a two-way vision in that there's a bit of a bubble between how we typically in the town see the resources available to us, and certainly the library is part of that. I think there needs to be more awareness of the library in just how we go about our lives in Westborough. Similarly, and in reflex in the sense that the library needs to be aware of what the issues are around town and react to that. Now, I already see that happening, but I want to heighten that and make more of it. The second major issue for the library is the building's state. It needs maintenance, it needs repair and upkeep. It's a 100-plus-year-old building, and of course it needs things, and it's a large institutional building. It's not cheap to maintain. So the funds that are needed are significant sums. And so in that sense, I am very much in favor of Article 12 and therefore against Article 40. But I think that by increasing the town's awareness of the gem that they have in their possession and seeing the library reach back out to reach their concerns, it builds a communication both ways. We will both value each other. We will certainly value our treasured institution, this public library. And when it comes time for its upkeep, we will understand the value of it and hopefully be more not so caught unawares of like, oh, this big building over here, it needs a lot of help, which indeed it does. So that's my view.
Okay, thank you. Now on to candidate Conklin to answer that question again about what's the most important issue facing the library.
Okay, so we've talked about have mentioned this book banning business. So we had a woman who had a 2-year-old down in the bottom floor in the children's section, and her 2-year-old picked up a book off the bottom shelf with vaginas and penises in it. And so she brought the notification to the library trustees and said, hey, can we do something about having this stuff here? Like maybe move it to a higher shelf or something, and that's what it ended up. The book was moved to a higher shelf. So this is the big Westborough Library book banning. So, but anyways, as far as the Library Bill of Rights and the Freedom to Read statement that the library follows, only the current technocracy view is presented at the Westborough Public Library. We have the Obama display, and where is the Trump display? The who? The federal and state doctrine. American Medical Association, Psychiatric Hospital Industrial Complex, Pediatrics, UN Agenda 2030, Climate Hysteria. I'm for inclusion of all viewpoints, not just what people in the current library deem as acceptable for the people of Westborough to take as the dogma that they should be following. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to candidate Christensen. Yeah, again, it's the most important issue facing, and how would you address it?
All right, one of the most important things about today is that if you're living in today with a building or a project, you're really like 5 years behind. Because life is so explosive right now, it moves so fast. Just like you get a new phone, you can't even figure out how to use it because it's already outdated. When people say, well, we'll give it 5 years, that puts you back 10 years in terms of doing anything that's progressive. The building is beyond waiting. It has waiting. It's like waiting for Godot. It's never coming. So we have to be very proactive in making sure that I know you have taxes to pay. We all do. That's our contribution to the town that we live in, because we are the members. However, we have to look at something that's falling apart. You don't see, we were happy to upgrade the fire department, happy to upgrade the police department, the building for the older building where the town hall is, and even the Forbes building. But when it comes to the library, where most of us go, I've been in the police department once, and that was to interview someone, and the firehouse once, but I'm always at the library. So why is that one so far down the list? Because we have seen it so long, it has become like an old friend that we don't even notice anymore. It doesn't have enough books, because there isn't enough space for books of all types, so that, and all ranges. So it's really important that we see how we have to go faster in things sometimes now today. Because we had that 10 years of waiting for the money to come from the state. That held us back. And now the voting on this and the voting on that, we can't take the time. It will disappear. And no one will take it seriously. And no one will really want to move to a town that has such a poor example, not because of wanting, but because
Time is up.
of going too slow. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you pass the mic down to candidate Karp? I think he's the last one on this question. The most important issue facing the library, and how would you address it?
As those of you who've heard me speak before are aware, I'm very concerned about the assault on the library itself, the removal of books, and the attempted intimidation for the library staff. Both of these are well documented. Books have disappeared, and not in the way that books traditionally disappear, which is to say people forgetting to return them, but rather simply books having walked out the door. There's been a lot of this, again, well documented in the past. This is absolutely something we can't tolerate. The fact that the idea that we should listen to what everybody has to say is nice in theory, but what we have to listen to is legitimate, well thought out issues, not doctrinaire nonsense from fringe groups. And I will stop there.
Okay, thank you. Library trustee candidates, you may, oh, you didn't get, excuse me, sorry. I must not have been on my script. Sorry. Mindrum will be last. Sorry, I apologize. Not trying to shut you off.
I'm totally good. So I believe that the most important issue facing the library right now is repairing the physical plant so that it continues to meet our needs. The library is not just a building with books. It's a community resource with opportunities for learning, social engagement, and recreation for all ages. But the beautiful building right now is badly in need of repair to the, see if I can get this, electrical and digital systems, the HVAC system, the roofs, the fire safety system, and there's probably something else. And we also need to become ADA compliant at the state and federal levels. I've been attending the library building committee meetings as much as possible, and this impressive committee has been working really hard to determine exactly which systems need to be repaired or replaced now. Only the ones that absolutely need to be. So I'm going to support this work by continuing to go out in the community and bring information about the project and about the needs. And if we take care of our library, it will be able to continue to take care of us in the future.
Okay, thank you. You may leave the mic on the table, and even though we want to applaud, we're not going to applaud. We're going to ask you to gently exit that way. We're going to get the next candidates to come up. Okay, I think we're all set. We're going to keep moving this along. Our new group of candidates is already up here. These are 3 incumbent candidates, each running unopposed for a different office. They are Planning Board incumbent Mark Silverberg, Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School Committee member Paul L. George, and Westborough Housing Authority incumbent Julia C. O'Neill Welsh. Each of you will, in order, give your 2-minute opening statement, which will be followed immediately by 1 or 2 questions appropriate to your specific office. Let's start with Mark Silverberg on the Planning Board incumbent. Please give your opening statement.
Thank you. My name is Mark Silverberg. I want to thank everyone here for letting me represent you for the past 15 years. It's truly been an honor. And I'm hoping that you will vote for me to serve for another 5. I also want to thank especially my wife, Jenny, and my children for putting up with my busy schedule, enduring a lot of late dinners, and many hours of my ranting about town politics. We've accomplished a lot in the last 15 years, but I feel like we have a lot more to accomplish. Part of my duties have been acting as chair to the town Open Space Preservation Committee, and we've protected almost 300 acres of open space in the past 15 years, and I'm committed to continuing that trend. We have an article at town meeting that will preserve 34 more acres through grants and partnership with Sudbury Valley trustees at no cost to taxpayers. But there's a lot more open space left in this town than people think, and the town needs to be ready. I am eager to continue work on the Boston-Worcester Airline Trail and the potential it offers, but I hope to manage the associated costs through grants by asking new developments along the trail to construct sections, as we have already done. We also received a grant to study downtown how to bring more businesses and improve traffic flow, while also making it safer for bikes and pedestrians. Please look for public meetings in the near future so you can provide input. I also participated in the development of our master plan, and as chair of the Master Plan Implementation Committee, I hope to see many of those goals completed in the next 5 years. One of my main goals in the next 5 years is economic development and how to bring more business to town that will help our tax base and take some of the burden off of residential taxpayers. I could keep going, there's so much to talk about, but I only have 2 minutes. Please know that I'm always willing and available to talk about any issues.
Time is up, you timed it perfectly. Okay. Thank you, and actually, I think we're going to do the questions right after the statement on this panel, so I'm confusing you. So we're going to give you your 1 question now, I believe, unless I'm doing it incorrectly. All right, so planning board question is, you addressed this a little, do you support preserving open space?
Yes.
All right, no applause, very good. All right, let's move along. Thank you. Now we are moving on to, let me get my place here. Yes, sorry, thank you. Next we have Paul George, who is running unopposed for the Assabet Valley Regional Technical High School Committee. Candidate George, please give your 2-minute opening statement, and then we'll ask you a question.
Hi, I've been a Westborough resident since 1976. I was a soccer coach.
Put your lips right on the mic if you can. I know it's annoying.
I've been a resident since 1976, and I've been a soccer coach. I was a Little League coach. I was Scoutmaster for Troop 382 for 10 years, and I got roped into Assabet because I was serving as temporarily to replace a person that wanted to run for school committee member, rather for select member. That was 33 years ago. Right? I'm a computer scientist and a software developer, and I run a small business in town on their computer solutions. Many of you might be my customers. But what's really interesting is that Assabet has 58 current Westborough kids, and next year we'll have 67, all right? Over the years, we've run the school as a business. We've tried to keep the expense of running the school as close to the bone as we could. And I think we've done a reasonably decent job. We build a platform for our graduates, and we try to make them prepared for nearly, for their careers, whatever their careers will be. We have 18 different shops that actually have certifications at the end of each graduate. They go out prepared to actually be in the business world, go to the military, go to college. About 62% of our kids go up for secondary education. About 5 to 8% of them go to the military, and the rest of them go to their trade or something in the business world where they can actually use their education. The nice thing about the school is all the instructors are resources for the graduates. For instance, I had a young woman that was a graduate of the education of our electrical department. She came back to ask the instructors how to plan a job. So it's available to them. And the instructors in school with the city are very dedicated. And because of that,
Okay,
it's
time.
a pleasure to work for the board.
Time is up. Now we're going to hit you with one question and then move along. Here is the question. What do you think of the state's proposal for a lottery system for admission to Assabet? Would it affect Westborough?
We've been contemplating the various different ways that they can get kids to go to Assabet. What you have to understand is the 7 towns that make up the regional school district get priority. So it's a first served, first come basis from the 7 towns that are the basis for the regional school contract. All right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to diversify the population of the school. The fact is, it depends on the diversification of the individual towns that actually send kids to Assabet. So it's been a complex problem, and we've been trying to work through it to make it as fair as possible. And it's ongoing. We have this conversation at least once a school committee meeting. And unfortunately, the state does not have any really great guidelines. They kind of throw things out there and wait for you to find out what you complain about. But it's on our forefront, because it's a very big deal and a high priority to see that we can have as diverse a population as possible, because I think the kids going to school need to exist in a diverse population, because that's where they're going to work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidate George. Next, you can pass the mic down. We have Julia C. O'Neill Welch, who is running unopposed for the Westborough Housing Authority. Candidate O'Neill Welch, please give your 2-minute opening statement.
Thank you. Thank you to the Westborough Democrat Town Committee for hosting tonight in the Willows. My name is Julia O'Neill Welch. I have lived here my whole life and raised my 3 children here who have all graduated from Westborough High School. I have a family. I'm the 5th generation from my family to also live here in Westborough. So we have a long history here in Westborough and love this town very much. I have a passion for helping people in need and believe in service. I have a passion for helping people in need and believe in service. I come from a family from my great-grandfather to grandfather to husband, brothers, aunts, and uncles who have all served on different committees here in Westborough. I've worked at the Youth and Family Services office currently now, and I've worked here at the Willows for 23 years in my younger career, and worked at the Westborough Jewish Community Center. And the reason why I feel that running for the affordable housing, I came into it in 2 years. There was somebody who stepped off the board, and I found there was availability. And somebody said, this is a really important role, we need somebody to step into it. And I said, okay, let me try this out for 2 years. The 2 years have flown by, and here I am again up for re-election, and it's a 5-year commitment. Thought about it and thought, yes, I've really enjoyed being on the board of the Westborough Housing Authority. Just to give you a little background on the Housing Authority, we have 86 units in 5 different locations with over 100 people living in affordable housing here in town. We know that housing has become very expensive across Massachusetts, and that the housing is very important to keep affordable housing here in Westborough. Thank you, and I hope I can get your vote in March. Take care.
Okay, thank you for your statement. And now we're going to hit you with the question. The question is, what role does the Housing Authority have in the area of increasing access to affordable and low-income housing?
We meet as a board, and as a board, we talk about how to expand housing and affordable housing within our community. With limited funding, it can be very tough, but there is talk currently going on of working with the Westborough Affordable Housing Trust. So we really try to partner with other town department agencies that are also helping to come across the need of having affordable housing available. So that is one of the things that we've been working on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're finished with this segment, so could you just leave the mic, please, and go that way? And while we're getting the next group, we're just going to acknowledge another group who aren't coming up here to speak. We have, unfortunately, we don't have... Okay, great. We're doing well enough on time that we're actually going to allow not only introduce the candidates for the trustees of Soldiers Memorials, but we're going to let you have a 1-minute statement, and we'll bring the mic out to you. So start working on that, and I'm just going to slowly introduce you, and you can speak for a minute. Let's see. So we have, there are 2 veteran candidates for 1 position. This is the veterans. Then we have Lee R. Stroud, you here? And we have Andrew R. Turok. And he's gonna, there he is, he's over there, and he's gonna make a statement because we do have the time.
I've lived in Westborough for 20 years. I'm a retired Marine Corps officer. I've been on the Veterans Advisory Board for 18 years, I believe, where we help living veterans do similar problems. Now I'd like to help out with the veterans that aren't with us anymore. And I do have some experience with the monument for Michael Haskell, who was killed in Beirut explosion. Got that monument up, so thank you, I'd like to help.
All right, thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to the non-veteran candidates. There are 2 positions, and the incumbent is Mark E. Brady, and let's hear from him first. Where's Mark? Mark?
Thank you very much. My name is Mark Brady. I've been a resident for 32 years. Probably a lot of you wondering what the trustees of Soldiers Memorials do. We are entrusted to work with the Veterans Advisory Board, the Garden Club, DPW, to preserve our monuments for our veterans. We see that the flagpoles get painted. We make sure the monuments remain in good repair. We're working on designing a new monument for the new cemetery. And there are 13 monuments scattered throughout the town. My goal is to publicize what these monuments are, who they are honoring, and continue to preserve and honor our veterans. in, for these monuments in the town going forward. Thank you very much for your support.
Okay, thank you. Is Donald Ted E. Gilbert here? Okay, could you stand and give us your, but the mic's coming your way, you get a 1-minute statement.
Yeah, hi, I'm Donald Gilbert. I go by Ted. I've been here for 5 years. I'm running for the non-veteran role for Trustees of Soldiers Memorials. And I am a Republican, but definitely Democrats have more fun. So thank you so much for having me here tonight. I am a non-veteran, as I said, but they're veterans in my family. I have a lot of respect for veterans and for these memorials. My great-great-grandfather was a photographer who worked with Matthew Brady, who took photographs of the Civil War. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And we have a write-in candidate, Jeff Spofford. If he wants to say a little statement there, we'll bring you the mic.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Spofford. I've been a resident here in Westborough for over 30 years. I'm an attorney. I practice law in Worcester, and I'm out here in Westborough and various towns in Worcester County. I got involved to run a write-in campaign because I believe that the role of public service in Westborough and any community should be taken seriously, and the veterans with whom we work and who have served us and who are either with us or are not with us anymore deserve a lot of respect. That's why I got involved in this campaign, and that's why I'm running a write-in campaign. And specifically, I'm running it because Mr. Gilbert, my opponent, or one of them, is the proponent of Article 45 for the town meeting warrant, where he thinks that we should have a Townie Baby Award, where people who are natives to the town of Westborough, were born in Westborough, and give birth to children in Westborough should get $1,000. I don't take that seriously, but I do take seriously public service commitment. And I think the veterans can do better, and I think I can do better to help the veterans.
That's time, thank you. All right, so we've got a little extra section in here, that's great. And now we are moving on to the select board candidates. So next we have 2 incumbent candidates who are running for 2 seats on the Westborough Select Board, Sean Keogh and Shelby Marshall. We will begin with each candidate giving a 2-minute statement, starting with Sean Keogh.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you to Susan McAllis, Jonathan Rappaport, and the
Yeah, gotta keep that mic right up on your lips
and the entire Westborough Democratic Town Committee for organizing this forum. My name is Sean Keogh. I am a member and current chair of your select board. I introduced myself virtually 3 years ago at this forum, and I'm happy to be here in person tonight. I'm here this evening requesting your support once again. I appreciate the opportunity to work in support of your town. I want to take a minute to talk about our future community center. For our seniors, it can be a space for social connection, from fitness and swim classes to other activities. The center will offer a diverse range of opportunities that cater to various interests. It will be a place to meet new people and share experiences. For our youth, it will offer daily programs for engagement. It will also provide a space for collaboration across all communities. I encourage everyone to participate in the upcoming engagement process to help us build the best possible community center we can for Westborough. Thank you very much, and please come out to vote on March 12th.
Okay, thank you, and so you're already passing the mic over to candidate Marshall. You get your 2-minute statement.
Thank you so much. Thank you for Westborough TV, for those watching at home, and for all of you who came out tonight. My name is Shelby Marshall. I've been a resident of Westborough for about 27 years. I came here because I fell in love, and I'm married to my wife Gail for 18 years. My beautiful daughter, our beautiful daughter, is here, Gracie. I'm embarrassing her now. She's a 7th grader, but happy that she's here, part of the civic process, and I'm honored that all of you are here. I'm running for my 3rd term, so I've served for 6 years because I love this work, I love this community, and I'm enthusiastic about service. Giving back to my community by being on the select board has been a true honor, and now I believe more than ever our nation and our community needs representatives who are enthusiastic, to serve the people and do so with integrity. We need leaders who govern with empathy, who are grounded, and who can objectively factor in all available information to make decisions in the community's best interest. It's impossible to please everyone. I certainly have learned that, but as a leader, you have to make decisions with current and fact-based information, defend your decision, and learn and grow with each win and loss. These are my values and how I have served in my last 2 terms. I'm seeking another term for several reasons. Sean mentioned the community center. I'm certainly passionate about seeing that come on board and the ideas that will come through community engagement, implementing the suggestions outlined in our senior needs assessment, exploring the feasibility of opening the Hockamaka Pond area for passive recreation, supporting the Bee-Wall Trail, and certainly looking for affordable paths for Westborough to remain an attractive community to all while still being welcoming. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to actually now ask you each 2 questions, and we're going to go in the order of Marshall and then Keo. So you can keep the mic by you there. I'm going to read you the question. You get to answer in 2 minutes. Here's the question. What is the most important issue you see in Westborough today, and how would you address it?
So there's no one most important issue, so I'm not trying to dodge the question like a politician. I know that taxes are certainly among our greatest concern that certainly I hear. I'm sure Sean does as well. However, we have to understand that most of our services here in Westborough, what our taxes pay for, a large portion of that are services provided by people. So if we want to cut taxes, we have to think about cutting services, and that means by headcount. And so we have to, explore that carefully. Certainly our debt is something else that we need to manage, but we've done a really effective job, I believe, through our town manager and our finance department, effectively managing our debt in the most conservative way possible. I do think that we need to make sure that we're bringing forward the best ideas for our community center that incorporates the ideas of all, both young, middle, and old, and I don't say that in any particular order. There are concerns, I still hear them, like, is the senior center really going to be the senior center? Yes, it is. And I'm really looking forward to that being a robust engagement process. I think there's tremendous pressure on our board and the town staff to make sure that engagement is broad and deep for the whole community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll let you answer the same question. Just repeat it quickly. What is the most important issue you see in Westborough today, and how would you address it?
I agree with Shelby. I think certainly you can't choose just one thing. I do recognize that the tax burden placed upon the residents of this town is growing, and it's going to grow significantly this year in particular. As members of the select board, we will continue to look at ways to manage that burden. I think, the tax rate itself isn't set until the end of this year. So there is an opportunity throughout the year to continue to work on this problem and hopefully make progress. Last year, at this time, going into town meeting, we were expecting a fairly high increase as well, and yet by the time the tax rate came around, we'd been able to reduce that by a fairly significant amount. So I'm hopeful that we can do that again this year, but of course there is no guarantees that will happen. In my opening statement, I talked about the community center. I believe it is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for this town to really make something of that building. It was an opportunity that we weren't expecting and that came in front of us, and that I really believe can transform how we communicate and how we interact. Currently, I do see the town as becoming a little more divisive in a strong community center. I can feel play a strong part in reducing that and bringing us together as a single group with able to share ideas, and I'm really looking forward to everyone participating in that process. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You can hold on to the mic there, because now we're going to go that way and give you each the second question. You can answer it first. The second question is more open, I think. What does public service mean to you? It's a broad question.
I think we all have a commitment to serve each other in some way, shape, or form. So in growing up, my father was a member of our local school committee. I think my mother was the treasurer of every group she ever joined. You know, so it was ingrained in me that participation is important. And when my kids were younger, a little closer, when my kids were younger, I believe I've coached just about every sport in town, and then did Cub Scouts, and then, which was a terrific way I found to participate within the town. But as that time passed, I really felt that being able to do something directly for everybody in town was important. And I started on the Advisory Finance Committee. Anybody who's interested in getting involved with the town, I would recommend the Advisory Finance Committee. It's a great way to learn about the town. And then after a few years on the Advisory Finance Committee, I chose to run for the Select Board. I am grateful for this opportunity. And please, this is genuine. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I would be happy to talk with you about what you believe is most important to our town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, candidate Keough. Pass it on down, and I'll just remind you of the simple question: what does public service mean to you?
So I think public service is extremely important. I think public service locally is probably the place where you can make the most difference and impact the most lives directly, in the most direct way, excuse me. I think that it requires a person to be selfless in many ways and put aside their own leanings while still relying on personal values. You have to be a great listener, and you have to be an advocate, and I think you have to be transparent and do what you say you're going to do. You also have to be very, very open to criticism, and take that, not with a grain of salt, but take that through a lens that it's delivered, and understanding that the context of the person delivering it to you obviously has a concern, and being open to that. I think public service certainly can come in forms that are not related to town government, although we absolutely need great people to run for office, and I see many of you out in the office who have, in the audience who have done that, but I encourage others to do that, and I see others who have run as candidates who are here still being active in the process. We have a responsibility in public service to be transparent and to be good communicators in a way that people can relate to us. Because until I got involved with this, I was as skeptic as many of you probably are about government, and the state and national level things only makes us more confused. So I think that anytime that a person can give of their time, we are volunteers. We have, for the past couple of years, I think have given up our massive stipend to help lower the tax rate. But as a volunteer, you know, I think it's all about service and giving back to your community. And I know that might sound trite, and people say it a lot, but when you're in this seat, that's really what you are doing every single day, whether it's being accessible to questions or to being at meetings and researching. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're done with this segment, so thank you, candidates Marshall and Keough. You're welcome to leave the stage that way, and we're going to switch over for the school committee, 2 candidates. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, we all set? Good to go? Okay. All right, our final category of candidates are 2 people running for 1 position on the Westborough School Committee. They are Tim Askew and Boyd Stewart Conklin. We will begin, as usual, with a 2-minute statement from each candidate, starting with Tim Askew. And then, obviously, we'll move along, and then we will have 2 questions that each will answer. Give you the question order later. So, let's start with statements. Mr. Askew. And Lips right on the mic, please.
Good evening. So my name is Tim Askew, and I'm here running for school committee. So over the past few months, I have spent the vast majority of my free time walking the streets, knocking on doors, and talking to essentially as many of you as will let me about our school systems here in town. Our school systems here in town. And so it may be familiar to many of you to hear me talk about my pride in the Westborough school systems, having graduated Westborough High in 2016, my vision to increase and build on the community engagement and civic education that we provide our students, and my understanding of the mental health epidemic and how we need to be supporting our parents and our teachers and our students in the classroom. But tonight, I would rather talk more about not what I said while at those doors, but what I heard from the community. So first and foremost, something that showed through in almost every conversation that I had was that this is a town that values public education, that cares deeply about the academic excellence that we've achieved here, and wants to see that continued in the future. And what I would say is that, and the second thing that I've heard is that in a candidate, you all are looking for someone that understands the needs of our students, that knows the facilities, and is ready to take on the work required day to day to really make sure that we are doing everything we can to provide the best education for our students. And while I have enjoyed aspects of the campaign, I can tell you all that I'm very eager to be able to start that work of the school committee and to really get on the ground running. And I believe that my education in business school and my current job in state government, and especially my time being a student in the Westborough school systems has really prepared me well to take on this work. So I'm very excited to get into it with energy and with passion. I look forward to being able to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now candidate Conklin, your 2-minute statement, please.
So we've met before. I'm a regular member of the Westborough School Committee Citizens Request Period. I also have 6th and 7th graders. I mentioned that previously. The knock for years on the LGBTQ++ groomers has been that they are intent on circumventing parental rights to usher their ideology into receptive, uncritical, developing minds as young as possible so as to cement it in their minds long into adulthood, as ideologues of all stripe have since the dawn of recorded history. Capturing the child's mind and soul is the ultimate victory. The groomer label has been met by such ideologues with condemnation as a transphobic smear, which might be fair if it weren't objectively the case that these people groom children as an essential part of their social engineering strategy. Westborough High School has 11% boys and 31% of girls identify as gay, bi, and plus, well on our way to total conversion of our children. $11 million comes from the states and the feds to push this narrative of the DEI, CRT, SEL, anti-racism that is destroying the minds of our children. Suicide rates have never been higher. The confusion of our kids. We need to deal with this in Westborough also. Thank you.
All right, let's continue on with the first question, and I have the question here. Just make sure I'm getting the order correct. We're going to go Conklin, ask you with a question. So, first question is this. How do you intend to bridge the divide between factions in the town who view caring for confusion, who view caring for the confusion that is the hallmark of adolescence with political talking points instead of thoughtful discussion? It's a long question. Yep.
Well, I think we need to get back to reading, writing, and arithmetic instead of all this social engineering that we've got going right now, worked into every lesson in the mathematics, in the history, in the English, in everything. This stuff is pervasive. If you walk the halls of Westborough High School, go to my Flickr site, with photographs. I've got 86 photographs taken in the high school of all the LGBTQ iconography. They've got a 6-foot by 60, 70-foot mural with the trans banner and the LGBTQ banner. And what are they pushing there? This is at the high school in room 39 at Gibbons at the middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. They've got a room 39, and it's the whole thing. All the walls, pride flags, trans flags. And this is where they bring the troubled children, the kids that can't sit still in their classroom. They take them to that classroom so that they can do their homework. What is it they're trying to push? They've got a library in that room, and it's full of trans and LGBTQ. This is also the room that the Gay Straight Alliance meets in. If somebody used cigarette advertisements or advertisements for Coca-Cola everywhere that they've got some kind of iconography for the LGBTQ, I'm sure we would have this kind of numbers for cigarette smokers in Westborough High School. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to candidate Askew. And I can repeat the question because it was kind of long and I messed it up. How do you intend to bridge the divide between factions in the town who view caring for the confusion that is the hallmark of adolescence with political talking points instead of thoughtful discussion?
Sure. I mean, I think that the number one thing that we would need to do is to go into the schools and talk to the educators, talk to the teachers that are on the ground every day and are really facing these issues. I do see that, unfortunately, a lot in our community of people using these kind of issues and making it into a political talking point. However, I think that when you really talk to the teachers and the support that they need, it's potentially additional paraprofessionals in the classrooms, it's connection amongst the students, between each other and teachers, and it's really making sure that we're doing everything we can to support students and to make sure that they have a enjoyable and pleasurable experience as they come through the schools and slowly grow into adults. I think that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think that first and foremost, it's about engaging, again, with the students and the teachers and talking to them on the ground and seeing what is actually happening. I think that there's nothing more important than hearing the voice of those people that are being affected and making sure that we're working with them and those that are with them every day to try to come up with real solutions to their problems.
Okay, thank you. You can keep the mic because you're going to answer this second question first. And then candidate Conklin will go after you. Here is the question. If your student or child came out to you as gay or trans, how would you advise them regarding their acceptance or lack thereof in school and society at large?
I would work with them and talk. So I will tell the room here that I do not have kids myself. So I am a product of the Westborough school system. I graduated in 2016, have essentially been in town almost my entire life. So I will say, I imagine it would be incredibly difficult, but at the same time, it'd be something that we would work through and support with them. I think that it is no secret here, and I think that especially in Massachusetts we know this, is that there are people in the LGBTQ plus community, and to pretend that there aren't and that they don't need help and especially additional support as it can be a tough journey with them, I think that's really just doing everyone a disservice. So I think it's incredibly important that I would be able to, hopefully with my future child, be able to work with them to really understand what they're going through and their needs and try to make sure that they are supported in every way that they need to be the best person that they can. So.
Okay, thank you. Do you want me to repeat the question? Or?
No,
okay.
No, it's fine. Well, whatever they want to be is what they want to be, and I support them in it. So, as the conversation went on, this is like a link. This is a typical link to a lesson plan in Westborough schools, and they have like Scarlet Teen or other gay, lesbian, transgender sites where in Westborough schools, they're giving the kids these links to these third-party places so that they can talk to an adult from these organizations about, problems that they might have. Now, we've worked with Amber Bach and Daniel Mayer, who's the who runs the curriculum, and we met recently with Jacob Moscal and Sarah Samsudin, who's also on the, currently on the school committee for a 2-hour meeting in Amber Bach's office, kind of thing. And so Amber said that she would remove those 4 or 5 links off of that curriculum that was going out. But this is like a typical conversation that might go on that somebody else's Libs' TikTok has put together. 13-year-old girl asked questions regarding any options of them that would have regarding chest binders, instead that her parents would not let her because they were right-wing. The director called the hypothetical parents in the situation brainwashed and gave instructions to Libs of TikTok, who was posting as the teen, how she could become emancipated in her later teen years to avoid parental permission for sex change surgeries. I would like to start you off with a binder. So are there any resources that you guys have for me to get a binder? A journalist.
Sorry, time is up.
Thank you.
Okay. Believe it or not, that is pretty much the end of our candidates forum. We want to thank all the candidates, and they can all stand up now. Now we can applaud them. This concludes our forum for 2024. We thank all the candidates for putting themselves forward, for serving our community. We again thank the Willows for their generous hospitality, for hosting this event. We thank all the volunteers. If they could stand. Volunteers? And we thank Westborough Cable for making us go live and recording us and sending us out later in the week. Oh, thank you. Oops, sorry. I lost my pen. Thank you.